Hello, everyone. Hello, good evening, or is it good afternoon or morning from wherever it is you're tuning in? My name is Maureen Oshumakinde, and welcome to Conversations with PMO. We started a revolution this week, this month of April, and we've tagged it the Help Series. Help Series. We had such an amazing time on Tuesday with my brother and friend Obafemi Aboluware, and we were addressing the topic help. My husband only eats freshly cooked meal. I was reading the comments, the feedback. It's just been amazing. That was 1 hour 30 minutes that was impactful. I loved that Femi was so real, was so honest, so genuine. He was just sharing with us from his heart a few things that he said that really, 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 hit home for me was when he said, even though his father wasn't exactly great, he wasn't perfect. His father had his flaws. There were a few things he could have picked up from his father and say, oh, this is how I am. This is who I am. This is how I was brought up. This is how I was raised. But he said as he grew older, he realized that he had to unlearn and relearn. And I think that that is one of the signs of maturity, not just for men, but for both men and women. I was saying to someone earlier on, we're having a conversation, it was yesterday, was it this morning? I can't even remember. And I was saying that one of the major um, ways of knowing that you have grown or that you are growing is that you're going to have to leave some things. You're going to have to deliberately unlearn some things. It's part of maturity, it's part of growing up, it's part of taking responsibility. You can't keep blaming your parents. You can't keep saying it was because of the way I was raised. When you became an adult, you became responsible for your life. Ultimately, God is the one that watches and is the God of our lives. But He created us with everything that we need to take charge, to take authority, to live a responsible life. And like I said, this is not only to men, but to both men and women. So guys, when you grow, when you become mature, when you sign up for adulthood, especially when you decide that you are taking on this thing, this institution called marriage, then you are saying, I am a responsible adult, especially as a man. And you're saying that I'm a responsible adult and I'm ready to take another person on a journey with me. And I think it's a huge task for men. Honestly, I do not envy men. I don't envy men at all because this thing that, when the Bible says that the man is the head, is a whole lot. Is beyond charging into your house and saying that you are the lion and the tribe of your house. Some some of us had parents that once you hear the horn of your father like this, everybody is trembling. And that's how you know that the man of the house is around. And it's amazing that we're gradually, either knowingly, ignorantly, some are raising boys with that same mindset. Being the head of the home is beyond having muscles, is beyond providing financially. Because when the Bible says that he that does not provide for his home is worse than an infidel, it wasn't talking about just financial provision. It was talking about all-round provision. So you're providing security, you're providing emotional stability, you're providing support, you're providing intelligence, you're providing financial support as well. You're providing, you're raising a family, and your wife was brought into your life to support you, to help you. You work together in partnership, heading for a goal. You are both heading for the same thing. That was one of the things that Femi said on Tuesday, that you had a life, but the moment you become married, you drop my life for our life. And that is something we don't see. And when I say our life, it's beyond friendship, because I get to hear people say this a lot, that were you guys friends? You know, when you are friends, it's beyond friendship. This is about understanding where we are going, understanding the assignment. So in marriage, you have your assignment as the husband, you have your God-given assignment as the woman, and you have your assignment together as a couple. There has to be a goal in that marriage. There has to be a purpose. And it's not having children. I was watching something, I just saw it on TV, today. And I think it's a new series on Netflix, talking about all these very rich Asian people. I don't know, well, I didn't really, dive into it for so long. But the lady was saying something. She was just saying, I just heard it. I'm like, okay, yeah, what did she say? What was that? She was saying that in the Asian culture, that when you marry, one of the major responsibility, assignment as it were, of the wife is to produce a male child. And I'm like, wow, I thought it was only Africans that, is so about this male child thing. And she said it, and I understand that's the culture. And it's one of the things we're going to be looking at with my amazing guest this evening, the role culture and tradition plays. And I really think that culture has done some damage and some good. Culture is not entirely bad. No, I'm not one to tell you, oh, the damn culture, put it aside. No, there are some good, rich culture and tradition of Nigerians, Africans that we should imbibe. But there are also some that have caused more harm than good. And it's important that we weigh these things. So being the head is not about showing muscle. It's not about, do you know who I am? When you begin to say, do you know who I am? That means you don't know who you are. Because if you're asking me, do you know who I am? Okay, it's like you don't know. It's like you don't know who you are. So it's just important that we understand that being a a male doesn't necessarily make you a man. So yeah, amazing. Today's topic is going to be very, very interesting. And I have, in someone's word, the perfect guest to address it. Remember, I said that in this entire series, I'm going to be interviewing men, because I particularly feel that there's a lot of conversation going on with the women already. A lot of conversation. We're having conferences, we're having seminars, we're having relationship talks, especially right now that the whole social media atmosphere is agog with, a lot of things happening, domestic violence, the church and so many things. But then I said, I think we need to hear from the men more. They will tell me, oh, it's not their thing. Men are not talkatives, in quote, like women. We're not talkatives too. But I think it's just needed. And people can correct me if I'm wrong. I really want to read from our comments. But I think that we need to hear men talk on these matters, have these conversations. Let's know what's going on. We're talking, I was talking with a group of friends yesterday, and they were like, a guy can be friends. And if there's a guy watching me, please correct me if I'm wrong. That a guy can be friends with someone for 2 years and they don't know the name of the person. Because all the while, my guy, bros, my guy, chairman, chief, that is what they are calling themselves. So they don't even know whether the guy is Bayo or Emeka or Namdi or John or Jude. But oh my guy. So there's a lot, it seems outwardly that there's a lot of friendship and togetherness, and body, you know, hey, my body, my guy, amongst the guys. But there's little deep conversations about the things that really matter. And I remember saying it on Tuesday to Femi that I also think that some men trivialize these issues because we have been tagged too emotional, too sensitive. We just want to talk about matters. And I think talking for us women is a way to find answers, to find solution. It's a way to let it out. It's a way to get a breather. And it has helped us. I think it has, you know, in my own opinion anyway. Yeah, let me read some comment. Yeah, someone said 2 major things that prevent us from even receiving is unbelief and tradition. True, tradition culture is a big thing. Exactly. Very true. Very, very true. Very, very true. It's a big thing, you know. And so today we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic. Help. My husband is threatened by my progress and achievements. What do I do? Help. My husband is threatened by my progress and achievements. What do I do? I once heard a very pathetic story of a woman who came to either the US or the UK. I'm not sure. This happened some years ago. And she's a trained nurse. So, of course, she moved, and through her, her husband and children were able to also relocate with her to the US. And of course, she started walking. And I think for the first few months, the husband had to manage the home. Somebody had to do it. Not the same when you're in Nigeria, where you have, you know, nannies, you can get nannies, you can get house girls, you can get maids, you have a relative from the village that can come and stay with you. But there in the US, the man had to, you know, and then the lady obviously started doing so well, encouraged the man to try and get something doing. Do you want to do a course? Do you want to do, you know, but then he was just lounging. And he became very embittered because the woman was doing so well. She got a house for them, you know, bought cars for them. But then at the end of the day, the story I heard was that the man got so furious, began to say so many things about her, sending messages home, negative things about her. Oh, she's this, oh, she's that, oh, she's this, oh, she's that. Is it because she's the one bringing in the money? Is it because she's the one doing this? I think long and short of that story, if I remember so well, it was that he killed her, you know, and it's pathetic, it's painful, it's sad that how did we get here? How on earth did we get here? How on earth did we get here? I'm waiting for your comment too. So I really want us to have this conversation. And the person, my guest, is none other than Pastor Deji KURUNMI. And he is an amazing brother to me. He's the senior pastor of TBC Lekki, Sphere of Influence. And he's married to Debola Deji KURUNMI. He's a wonderful, amazing consultant. He's a pastor par excellence, a teacher of the word. And he's in my corner. He's in my amen corner. That's the personal thing. He's in my own personal amen corner. And I know what I did to drag him out this evening, but I'm glad that he obliged me. And I'm glad that we're having this conversation with him, because I think that we just need to talk about these things and glean from people who sort of have, you know, some experience in that area, or possibly, you know, over the years have learned one or two things. It doesn't mean they're better than every other person, but just to glean and to learn. Because the truth is, I get a lot of women who say these things, you know, come on board and say things like, my husband feels this. And we all know that whole thing also. You're a single lady, they will tell you, you have to humble yourself. You know, and the way they describe that humble, like you just have to leave be. Don't let them know. How can you can afford to buy a Jeep, a Mercedes Benz. They say, no, go and buy Toyota. you can afford to get a house in a lovely place. They say, no, don't leave your mother's house. Don't leave your father's house. You don't have to. You will not get prospects. You will, and all of that. We're going to be looking at that. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be looking into God's word, and we're going to trust God to help us today. And I'm really praying, and I'm in agreement with you that as many women and men that probably are in this kind of situation, we would get answers, and the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. So join me as I welcome my dear brother and pastor, Deji.
Good evening, Pastor Maureen. Good evening, everybody.
Pastor,
good evening.
Like I have been calling you updates. My pastor, Pastor Deji. Pastor, let me sound like a Ghanaian. Pastor Deji. It's so good to see you. How are you doing, Pastor Deji?
I'm fine, ma. Good evening, ma.
And thank you for honoring this invite. Thank you for allowing me push you out of your comfort zone and be on the hot seat today. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for saying yes to this. So we're just going to dive right in, because I know that you are a busy man, and I had to probably drag you out of midweek service. And thank you for that as well. So you know the topic before us, Pastor Deji. Help, my husband feels threatened by my progress and my achievement. So there's this mindset, like particularly African mindset. I'm not saying the Westerners don't have it, that when they say a man is the head of the home, he has to be the one bringing in everything. He has to be the one shining. He has to be the one known. The wife just has to be, by the side. The wife just has to be seen when visitors come, and she prepares the food, serves the food. Oh, well, yeah, God bless you. Thank you for coming. She's not meant to be known. She's not, and even if she's walking, she's industrious, there's a limit, there's a cap. No, you can't be, your name cannot be the one out there. Your husband is your covering. Your husband is this. And also to single ladies as well. There's that message being preached, indirectly. Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't manage this. Don't be too out there. Don't wear this. Don't drive this. Don't live here. You cannot do this. So I just want you to talk on that, Pastor Didi. What are your thoughts? What is your thoughts about this thing? Because I know that you are married to a powerhouse. And the truth is that it really takes one. I usually say when we see women doing so well out there, it speaks a lot about where they're coming from and the support they're getting from the home. And so that is kudos to you, because I believe that there is that major support coming from the home. How have you been able to do that over the years? And what do you have to say with respect to this topic?
Okay.
I'll put you on the spot.
I'm not exactly sure where to start, but I think a lot has to do with paradigms, right? So there are definitely some things that I can't personally sort of relate to from my paradigm, and where I'm coming from. I never even wanted to sort of generally marry or get married to someone who is not very ambitious and very bullish about life, about adding value to the world and to the society at large. Certainly, I didn't set out trying to. That wasn't an attraction for me, really. So I would definitely let's just say, quote unquote, whoever I sort of get interested in or got married to, as the case may be, it will certainly be part of my own I won't say job description, but part of what I will definitely be doing.
What you would look out for. So it was something that you had wanted.
Beyond looking out for. So this is already past the looking out for. So in terms of looking out for, certainly, I wouldn't relate with someone who is not going somewhere. It wouldn't work, right?
Okay.
So I could only relate with someone who who has a dream, who has an understanding of purpose.
Yeah.
And apart from maybe a few things I could point to in terms of my background, which I think may have also played a role one way or the
Okay.
other in how I how I
How you
ended up
viewed life.
how I ended up in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But beyond that, um, I at a phase in my life as well, I also digested a lot of messages, I would say, from the likes of Miles Monroe. I mean, I
Right.
sunk myself deep into that. So a lot in terms of a life of purpose, a life of meaning was well entrenched in my mentality. So if I'm talking to you and you look like you don't have a direction, ab initio, I know that you're not even ready to get into a relationship to begin with, right? If
Right.
you don't
Right.
have an understanding of where you're going in life, you've not found God to the extent where He's showing you, even if it's glimpses, a path, that you're envisioning, right?
Yeah.
As far as your
Yeah.
life is concerned, then I certainly am not interested.
Yeah. So if I can
So
chip in something, Pastor Deji, at this point, just to be clear, what you're saying is that right from the very beginning, at least
yes,
at the point of you're searching, the Bible says he that findeth. So there was the point where you were searching for in terms of who you're going to marry or the kind of person that you would spend the rest of your life with. He
that's
was
another
already
question.
something. What did you say?
My own finding wasn't searching. I'll tell you that for free.
He wasn't searching. Okay. I think I'll bring you back another time to come and share that part with us. Let us stay with this part, but you will share that part. It was not searching. We want to know how you cornered my sister, but we will do that one another time. So what I'm trying to say is that from what you've said, I want to believe that what you're saying is that it was already a part of you. You already had a paradigm with respect to the kind of person. So it's not that you just, oh, I want to marry. They say we should marry, let's marry. Okay. No, part of what you wanted around you, with you, is someone who had a drive, someone who had some measure of ambition concerning her life, her future, her destiny. And that attracted you to her. And so if you would sort of expect that she will begin to blossom in that direction. So it's not some sort of root shock like, hey, where are you going, madam? This is not the plan. So right from the foundation, even before the marriage started, you already had this in you. Am I clear on that?
Certainly, absolutely clear on it. So there is no shocker.
Yeah,
There's no. So let me put it in context. Um, people have different. I mean, there are different paths, right, in life,
yeah,
and of course, there are people who are doing a whole lot, right, but they
yeah,
are not. They are
yeah,
not necessarily um, very savvy with perhaps um, putting themselves out in that sense,
yeah,
or
yeah,
their ministry. Let me put it that way. And when I say
yeah.
ministry, I'm not just talking about
The assignment.
people
Yeah,
ministry. Their assignment and their calling on the face of the earth may not necessarily have to do with
spotlight.
um, being in the spotlight or being on the
Yeah,
pulpit and stuff like
yeah,
that. So
100%. I agree.
it's important to put that in context, right?
Yeah,
So yes, it was certainly part of what I would be expecting because it's what I'm expecting for
yeah,
myself, right?
yeah,
And for instance, when I say that I wasn't searching, what I did mean is that I was very, very busy and very very engaged in
Mm.
terms of what I wanted to achieve,
Yeah.
at a point in
Yeah.
my life. I wasn't thinking about I want to get married, looking and searching for it. I was too focused
Mm.
on on my assignment, on what I had to achieve at that point in time in my life.
Right.
Marriage conversation for me was almost like a disruption. It was, yeah, it, it
You were
was it
that
was
focused.
I was that focused that I needed to be awakened by God,
Then
literally,
yeah,
to say,
another
young man,
Adam experience.
it's time. Yeah, that really was what happened. Truly,
Whoa.
I mean, it's more like God has given you work to do. You have an assignment.
Mm.
You're
Mm.
dodged. You're going after it. And it was pretty much like God turning my turning
I
my
understand.
eyes to say, just literally
Oga,
opening
look.
my eyes and
Oga,
say,
look.
"Oh God,
Look.
look!" Exactly.
Look.
That was what was happening, right? So it was more like, "Look," and I was like, "Okay, really? Okay, is it about that time?" And I wasted no time in obeying God and doing what I needed to do.
The rest is history.
so,
As they say,
so yeah,
three children
yes.
down.
So if I met someone, if I met a lady, if I met a lady that perhaps I had an attraction for, I'm just saying that as an example, right? And I had an attraction for, okay, this nice Christian lady and all that, and we started engaging, and I see there is no sense of purpose, direction, ambition. Um, it will turn to a mentoring relationship, literally. I would know that this is not, yeah, literally it will be more of, you know any
Mm.
meeting will be more of,
Mm.
okay, let's open scriptures.
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
you know
But Pastor
you-
Deji, if
you-
I'm to say something at that point, I've actually met some men, Christian brothers, who feel that their role in the life of their wives is actually what you are saying now, that you wouldn't even consider as a wife material. They believe that their role is that, as in, I am sent into your life to mentor and manage you. Would we
Very true.
consider that a mindset to want to emulate?
Very true. It's not about, so I'm speaking basically again from my own context.
Right,
And I think it's important to note that, so that it's not taken as a hard and fast rule.
right.
So yes, and it doesn't discount the fact that when you get married, regardless of who you're getting married to, that
Yes, sir.
that that is not part of your role. That is fundamentally your role as a husband,
Yeah,
right? You have to, as it were, wash out with the washing of water by the word.
that's
You
it.
know, you
That's
need
it.
to
Yeah,
play your role in helping, as it were, to unlock
yeah.
the treasure, right,
In
within
her.
within the wife. It's
Mm,
it's part of the
mm,
grooming process. So
that's
regardless,
right.
that is a fundamental function.
Bridegroom.
So what I
Yeah.
what I do mean is, and I think I found a few relationships like that. I think what I do mean is that the conversation would switch from, I want to start dating this person, or I want to engage this person, so this person is not ready.
Right.
You can't find
Right.
me first before. I mean, it
Right.
would just and sometimes it gets into, um I mean, sometimes it then takes extra effort, right? So
Yeah.
it's let me lead you to find God, to the point where you have a sense of purpose and direction,
Yeah.
because that's what I can help you with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And yes, and in the process, if peradventure it's still a conversation to say, oh, okay, let's get engaged and get, definitely that would follow through, right?
Yeah.
And I do know
But
that there are.
if I'm to say something, still touching on that um, foundation. So that means that the kind of person you tag along or take along with you on your journey is a function of who you are, what you want, and the knowledge of where you are going. Because, like you said, you knew what you wanted from God, you knew where you were going, you had an idea of the kind of future that God had shown you, which is a product of your relationship with God. So you had an image, like we always say, Genesis 2, God had given Adam assignment. And like you were saying, he was so busy about that assignment, God literally had to say, oh God, look, before he, but then the kind of person he was going to take with him had to be someone, a helpmate comparable to him, such that this person has the capacity. So if a man is now looking, can we now say if a man is now threatened or comfortable by a woman who isn't exactly given the uh, uh, given the latitude to give expressions to her fullness, can we say that is a function of the man's thinking, what the man wants out of life, and how the man views his future?
Certainly, I think that, of course, I think that question does border on a sense of insecurity, and it does border on primordial sentiments and mindsets,
Yeah,
in the sense that you start feeling threatened. So it is possible, even though not within my experience, but clearly very possible, that a man is, yeah, you're doing your own thing, and your wife is also doing her own thing, and she's pushful, she's going out there, and you feel threatened, maybe because she even starts to bring in more of the
yeah,
funding for the home and all of that, and it becomes a source of discomfort for the man. And
yeah,
the dynamics within this is quite um, multifaceted, right?
yeah.
So the first and foremost thing is, I think it's important for the man to be secured in his own calling and in his own
Mm,
assignment. And the
yeah,
natural
yeah,
thing and expectation of scripture is that you love your wife, which also implies that you provide the support that she needs to thrive and do what she needs to do to bless
mm,
humanity. It's important for you
mm,
not to be selfish, right?
mm.
But some of the dynamics also comes in terms of how the lady also then handles success, how she handles
Yeah.
success, how
Pastor
she
Deji,
handles.
please hold that thought. I'm so sorry, my battery is about to run out. No one, just a minute, sir.
All right.
So sorry. Apparently, I did not plug the laptop. Right. We're good. Sorry, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm enjoying that conversation. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So how she handles
Handle
uh,
success.
success could also
Very
uh,
important.
be part of what is then causing a lot of drama
Mm,
in
mm,
the marriage. So if you're
mm.
successful as a woman, or you are the one bringing in most of the money, peradventure,
Yeah.
it's important for you to understand that there is order. Um,
Yeah.
it's not a question of equality, it's just a question of
Mm,
order, scriptural
mm.
order, right?
That's it.
And you understand that there is order in your home, and there has to be order in your home, right? And to
Yeah.
maintain order in your home, there are certain ways you behave, right? So you may be, as it were, the boss lady, out there,
Yeah.
But in the home, you can't bring that mindset into the marriage, into the
Mm.
home, right?
Mm.
It's important for you
Mm.
to, of course, it's a two-way, it's a two-way thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it's important for you as the woman to not bring that mindset into the home. This is your
That's right.
husband. This is your friend. This is your buddy, your gist partner.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you can be vulnerable with each other, and all of
Yeah.
that. This should be your safe place, as it were.
Yeah.
And yeah, just feel comfortable in that
Can I
place.
ask a very
Uh,
direct question, Pastor
yeah.
Deji? So you don't consider it a taboo that a woman is graced to earn, to provide more financially in some cases, in some marriages? It's not a taboo because in this part of the world, Africa, a lot of men, Christian men, Pastor Deji, and I'm saying this because we are both pastors, believe that it's a
Sorry,
taboo
sorry, Pastor Maury.
that,
I'm the one that would have to take a little bit of excuse now. Just a second,
okay,
please.
all right, okay, sir. And so, we were talking about that, and I just believe that a lot of African, sadly, believe it's a taboo. Like you can't even hear it. Why would the woman? Now, I'm not talking about Pastor Deji, I'm not talking about that time where probably things are a bit rough for the man and the woman covers and support. But I'm saying cases where evidently the woman is more empowered financially to provide. And this is the status of the marriage. Is it a taboo?
Certainly not a taboo. That's the straightforward answer.
As
You know,
straightforward as straightforward.
yeah, it's not a taboo. Like I was speaking to some men, and it was an interesting conversation. This was years ago, and they said the responsibility of the man is to provide,
Mm,
and that provide there did
mm.
not does not stop at providing financial resource.
Yes, sir.
There are other things that you can bring to the table, as a man.
Yes, sir.
And the truth is that, yeah, it's counterintuitive in most, not just African culture, right? Globally,
Mm-hmm.
there's just an expectation that the man should take the lead when it comes to provisioning,
Mm.
in the house. Now, the important thing that you don't want to do as a man
Yeah.
is to then recline yourself to a state where you are, quote unquote, you're useless to the to the union.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so okay, the lady is probably working in a fantastic firm, got a great
Yeah.
job, bringing in a
Yeah.
lot of money, and you don't have such a, you're not privileged, as it were,
Yeah.
to be working in a place that is, you're getting that kind of pay,
Yes, sir.
or you are probably an entrepreneur, you're pushing your own thing, but you're not earning as
As
much,
much.
right? Because what you then find is that there is a tendency for some men to then, extricate themselves from that role of actually bringing something to the table.
Mm.
Okay, so what I do advocate and I believe is that regardless of who is earning whatever,
Yeah.
as a man in the home, you should work with your hands
Yeah.
and bring something to the table, and
That's
you can
right.
have your rules around it. So for example, you can decide that my earnings will
Yeah.
fund the opex for the home,
Yeah.
right? You would still give money for food in the house,
Yes, sir.
right? You would still pay school fees or contribute, as it were, to paying of school fees and all of that.
Yeah.
And the money coming in from the wife is still coming into the family wallet. And I will
Yeah.
say that all things being equal, I'm talking about a perfect quote
Yeah.
unquote situation here, right? It's still coming into the family wallet. That can go into maybe savings, things
Buying a
that
house,
goes into, yeah, exactly, big budget stuff,
traveling,
planning for the future,
family, holidays.
vacationing, all those things. But let it be clear that you have a sense of responsibility to care for your home, care for your family, right?
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's what it is, and there's really no need for unhealthy competition within the home and unnecessary striving within the home. It's important for both to be friends and be comfortable with each other. And as the Lord opens doors for both of you, you make the best use of funding that comes into the home. So
Either way.
it's certainly not a taboo, because in so many cases it just happens. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Right? She
Yeah.
graduates, she gets a job in an oil and gas firm. Would you
Yeah.
tell her not to take the job?
Yeah.
And I have seen some cases
Some
where
men are
some
that
men have
threatened.
actually said,
Some men are
resign
that
that
threatened.
job. Yeah.
Yes.
That those who say resign the job, you can't do
Yeah.
this, you can't, simply
Yeah.
because they feel threatened by that.
Yeah.
There are men who have insisted. For instance, some would say maybe the lady is even coming with a car, and say,
Yeah.
no, you have to sell that car. You know,
Yeah.
you just can't handle the fact that she's bringing more, materially into the
Yeah.
union.
So that's
And
that's
that
the
is,
cocoa, Pastor Deji, and I want you to
yeah.
give us, with the help of the Holy Spirit, practical solutions or steps in men handling that, because I think it's a major issue whereby this some men can't just break away from. You are saying this because thank God you have the right foundation, probably read the right things at the right time, had the right frame of mind. Some of these men didn't have access to that, and they are currently in that situation, and they really cannot wrap their mind around the fact that, you mean my wife will earn more than me? Because there's that subtle thing. So how do we, it's a mindset thing. Are you going to say such people need to submit themselves to mentoring, or they just need to reevaluate themselves, or probably reevaluate the marriage? Is it a partnership, or how do you view your wife? How do you view your relationship with your wife? Because it takes a whole lot, whereby vividly sometimes the children might even know mommy is earning more, mommy has more opportunities, more access to resources than daddy. How do we balance these things practically? Managing the man, I know they talk about men's ego, of which I feel largely at times stems from insecurity. How do we address this issue of insecurity, Pastor Deji?
If I would speak from the Christian perspective, I think the first and foremost thing for the man is to understand that this is whatever emotion you're feeling and whatever is going on in your mind. There's a first place of getting to the place where you understand that this is not correct. This is wrong, right? If you don't first accept the fact that whatever you're feeling emotionally is not correct, is not right,
Yeah, yeah,
then you would definitely be on a track where everything you're thinking about is how to bring the woman down, or how to get yourself or push yourself up. But the pushing yourself up, may create, unhealthy competition. You do things you're not supposed to do, you
yeah,
contravene, your faith and do all manner of things just because you're trying to out earn, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
I don't know how we got into this earning part of the discussion, but you know,
It's not part
you're
of
trying
it.
to out earn, you know, your spouse, right? So the first thing is to understand that it's okay if you start feeling that way, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
start feeling insecure or whatever,
Mm.
that's fine. But it's important for you to realize that
Mm.
how you're feeling is wrong. Okay.
Mm.
So when you
Mm.
admit and you come to the place where
Mm.
you understand that it's wrong,
Admittance. Yeah.
yeah, then the steps you'll be taking therefore would be how to correct how you feel.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yeah. Admittance.
in the event which can then lead you into, you know, getting counsel, seeking advice.
Mm.
But before you even start on that journey, you need to journey into God,
Mm.
because by and large, it's a state of maturity
Mm.
that you need to attain to. You know, there's a gap in your state of mental and emotional maturity
Mm.
to being able
Mm.
to handle what's going on. So you journey into God and, you know, receive leadership on how to get out of that mindset and, you know, the negative, unhealthy emotions that you feel.
Yeah.
Right? It can get you into engaging as well with your spouse directly,
Yes,
and
sir.
yeah, and you know, talking through it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also important that you know, I think on the average, and I've always believed some things by default. The truth is that um, I believe every woman by default meaning that outside of any editing of what should be normal, right? By
Yeah.
virtue of maybe life's experiences from the
Yeah.
woman's perspective, is that every woman desires to marry someone that they can respect. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yes,
there
sir.
is a desire, you know, to marry someone that you can respect
Yeah.
or you have respect for, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any woman who has not been marred, let me put it that way, would
Mm.
want to marry someone that, you know, they don't respect, you know, they
Mm.
don't,
Mm.
yeah. So that is there, and sometimes um the um the easiest, or let me say one of the easiest deceptions
Mm.
is to feel that money brings respect.
Yeah. I was going
That
there.
by default, someone who is wealthy, a man who is wealthy, who has means, is
Mm.
projecting certain things unsaid, right?
Mm.
That attracts the woman. And what are the unsaid things that money projects? And it's the deceitfulness of riches, but it's
Mm.
just what happens.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
projects the fact that I am someone who can provide security for you. I can
Yeah.
secure you and our
Yeah.
children and our future. So
Mm.
that's part of the innate needs of a woman. She's seeking
Mm.
for security, someone who can protect her. So
Right.
money says, I can protect you. So it's an
Mm.
attraction. Respect as well. I want someone I
Yeah.
can look up to, someone I
Yeah.
can boast about, someone that is
Yeah.
respectable in the society. And so the fact that he has money also tends to project that, you
Mm.
know, I you know, you know, or elicit respect from the woman. So
Yeah.
naturally, a man who has means or who is
Mm.
materially comfortable tends to
Yeah.
be very attractive to women,
That's it. Mm.
right?
Mm.
And if you are deceived by that and you don't watch out for things beyond the money that he has, you
That's
get into
right.
a marriage that then gets you're really frustrated, right?
That's right.
So it's important for the man to understand that the first thing that that brings or commands the respect of my wife is really
Yeah.
not money,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So if you feel that you're going to be losing the respect of your wife because now you are not earning as much, then you're already in the wrong place. It means that for you, um, the only thing or a major thing that you feel should command respect or is an intricate constituent of your makeup as a man is the fact that you have
Mm.
money. So
Mm.
if the money is taken away, you feel less of a man.
That's
And
right.
that schooling is wrong. So you
Yeah.
need to deliver yourself from that schooling, right?
That's right.
So there are several other things that you bring to the table. There are several other things in the way you behave, and
Yeah.
the type of counsel you're able to provide, in the
Yeah.
depths of God that you have, in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
ability to nurture, in your ability to school, in your ability
Yeah.
to train,
Yeah.
and quality of decisions that you bring to the table,
That's it. That's
right?
it.
And how you engage
Quality
with
of
people
decision. Yeah.
within your environment. There are all those things that money can't buy, in that sense,
Mm.
that the
Mm.
woman would respect you for,
Mm.
that
That's
women
right.
would respect in a man.
That's
You
right.
understand? But if you resign yourself to a life where, okay, I mean, she's bringing all the money in, and as you see in the society nowadays, and the man is just up to nothing in that
Mm.
sense,
Yeah.
working really on nothing. And, it's just TV, it's just binging on whatever morning till evening. The lady has gone to work, and
I will
you
call the
just
lady
have,
on her way back from work to remember to buy fuel for generator.
and when, and that DSTV
Subscription has almost
subscription
finished.
has
I need to
expired,
watch sports.
that she needs to pay for the subscription for DSTV and all those things, right?
Yeah,
And you just, it's you would find that you become distasteful to your wife,
that's it.
and
Mm.
it's not about the money you are not bringing in. It's about who you have
Mm.
become as a man,
That's it.
because you've just resigned yourself to a life of zero ambition.
That. Mm. That's it.
So
That's it.
the woman would naturally start resenting that
That's
state
it.
of
That's it.
lack of productivity, lack of drive,
That's it.
lack of vision. You are not bringing anything to the table. So I mean, it's not a place to get to as a man,
Profound.
right?
Profound.
And
Profound. Profound, Pastor Deji. Profound. I love what you've said. You've given leadership a new definition. It's beyond providing money, providing financial support. As important as that is, we're not neglecting that. Or rather, are we saying that, financial support is not important? But
yeah,
there's a lot more to a man than that. If we read Proverbs 31, like I always say, uh, people say Proverbs 31 woman, but I believe that Proverbs 31 wasn't just about the woman, but it was
mm,
also about the man, because it just shows us it firstly shows us the first few verses, the kind of man that can marry the kind of woman that was talked about in Proverbs 31. And we
yes,
see that picture of a very industrious woman, a very, just like we're talking, ambitious, who she's out there, she's sewing this, she's addressing this, she has mates, she's considering a field. She's like I said on Tuesday, she considers the field and she buys it. Does not necessarily mean she didn't have her husband's support in buying that field. But the truth is that she had earned her husband's support before ever even considering buying the field. Because earlier on in that verse, the Bible has said that the heart of her husband safely trusts her.
trust, yeah,
So they had built some level of partnership. such that he's a man that sits at the gates. He's an elder statesman. He might not be, like you said, out there in the limelight, going here to the market, doing business, bringing ship of stuff and doing all of that. But the truth is that that is a picture of a balanced home, in terms that each person supplying what they have in terms of caring for each other and working together in partnership. And at the end of the day, the husband says, many have done so well, but you excel them all. Your children rise to call you blessed, because the man is a happy man and the woman is also a happy woman. And so I know you have to run, but two things, Pastor Deji, and then we'll call it a wrap. And thank you so much for your time. One is you touched on it towards the end of your conversation, but I don't know if you want to add one or two things to women who have found themselves in that situation where the man is totally useless in quotes. I know you've addressed the man. What do you say to such women? Because they are frustrated, they already have resentment. Some are even considering divorce. Some are like, what is all this? I seem to be the one hustling. I seem to be the one pushing. I seem to be the one doing all of this. And unfortunately, because of the ego, the man isn't even appreciative of what she's doing. Rather, he's considering her. Is it because you are the one bringing the money? So you now feel you can be ordering me around? Or simply, Oga, on your way, can you buy bread? Because I'm not bringing money now, you are sending his bread that you can send me to go and buy. So can you I don't know what you want to say to the women. That's one. Then the second one, so I don't forget, Pastor Deji, is if we can wrap that up, with your answer. DDK, I know, has an extremely busy schedule. How do you manage to balance that? How? Because some men feel like, okay, it's okay. Oh, I did not say it should not shine. I did not say it should not be, but you cannot just be going everywhere. Your first responsibility is the home. How have how have you both been able to manage that? Because some men have just not been able to understand how you're able to do that. So I hope you understand my two questions.
Yes, I do. And on the first question, my sincere hope is that, and maybe anyone listening who is still single, can really take a cue, because there are certain things that, if they're not in place ab initio, becomes a lot more difficult to deal with as you get into a marriage union.
Yes,
so in some cases, the case scenario that you've painted, obviously it will be a very difficult thing for the woman to be the one having the conversation with the man in that situation. It's going to be very difficult. You'll have a lot of awkward moments. Almost anything that is being said for good can be easily turned into, taking the wrong end of the stick, in the conversation, and reading all kinds of meanings into what the woman is saying, because his paradigm is already wrong. And anything she says always just points to the fact that, because you are the one doing well now. And that's where it will always end. So the advice I would give is that you need to find someone who he listens to, someone who he respects, and to table that matter before the person, and hopefully whoever we're talking about also is a man of great wisdom. You need to, because before you start sharing things, it's important to share with people who you've judged to be very balanced. And my prayer is that we all have these sort of figures in our lives, because if you don't have that, really, things really become quite difficult and dicey to deal with. Right? Someone who can step in and the man has respect for this person, and and the person handles the matter in such a way that the man also doesn't feel a certain way that you've exposed me, or you handle it in a way that is balanced,
That's
in the
it.
sense that even me, I think I found myself with a bit of those sort of situations where you'd have to sort of provide counsel to husband and
That's
wife,
it. Mm-hmm.
and there's just a dimension of wisdom that is needed for you to balance things out,
Mm.
regardless of who's reporting who. Particularly if
Yeah.
this if it's the wife saying, "Look, I want to see you because my husband is doing this and that."
Yeah.
That there's wisdom in understanding that, of course, as they say, there are two sides to every story. But beyond that, also balancing things out in the area of um, really a finding where also the woman may need to make certain adjustments, on our own side, right?
Mm.
So the person must have listening ears,
Mm.
and not just come to the session with a conclusive mindset. Listen to the pains of the husband as well.
Mm.
Listen to the things he's not saying.
Yeah.
Listen to the heart
Yeah.
and all of that, and counsel the woman on. You also need to make adjustments here and there. So
Mm.
it feels like everything is equalized. I'm telling the
Mm.
man where to make adjustments. I'm also telling you, the woman,
Yeah. Yeah. So
where to
it's
make
not one-sided.
adjustments. So it's
Mm.
not all one-sided, and the couple can begin to heal from that. But the
That's
truth
it.
is that once the man is in that state, it's certainly going to be difficult for the woman to be the one having that conversation with the
Mm.
husband to say, get out of
Mm.
here. So
Mm.
hopefully you do have, there are figures who can step in and sort of
Hopefully.
assist. Hopefully,
Mm.
yes, hopefully.
And like
Otherwise,
you
you
said, to the singles, that is one of the things you have to look out for. That the
yes,
person you are choosing or
is
deciding
it
to spend the rest of your life with has such figure in their lives that
always
they,
marry a man always marry a man who is under authority.
that's it. That's it.
Don't get engaged with someone who is the overlord that
Yeah.
nobody can
Yeah.
talk to.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be subject to an authority. So
That's
so
it.
marry someone who is subject to authority, and has
Authority.
shown that humility to be
That's it.
subject to authority.
Mm.
Yeah. So those are questions you should ask as a single lady. Who do you
Yeah.
respect? Who
Mm.
means a lot to you in life? And
Yeah.
so always watch out for. Excuse me. Always watch out for that.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so in the area of yeah, I mean, being very busy. So there are two. I think that there are two ways, and I want to speak very broadly. So within my own personal context, it's really um, I would even say it's tougher. It's tougher because um, both both parties are extremely busy individuals,
Mm. Mm.
um, and you know you are being you're so busy, you're deliberate
Mm.
in carving out time to spend on things related to family,
Mm.
spend with yourselves, find time to bond
Yeah.
together, bond with the children and all of that.
Mm.
It's a deliberate effort. If you don't
Mm.
make that deliberate effort, you'll
Slip
just be
away.
absentee
Yeah.
more than father,
Yeah.
and you succeed apart, as it were.
Mm.
One is
Succeed
flying off
apart.
there, that one is flying off there, and there is really no intimacy, there's no
Wow.
bonding, there's really
Wow.
nothing. You just lose each other, and it opens the door and opens the room to several other things.
That's
right?
it.
So it's
That's it.
important for you to deliberately make out time. Now
Mm,
that is my context. Now in the context of um, where perhaps the sort of job or the vocation or whatever the man does actually leaves a lot more room, you know.
mm,
And I've seen men who do that, and it doesn't take anything away,
mm,
from you. Um, if you are the one that you can be there more in terms of
mm.
providing support and all of that, do the needful.
Yeah.
So for me, for instance, there are things I do that um, it's even affected my leadership style, and I say this. So, for instance, and I trace this back to my grandfather. For instance, so my grandfather had all girls.
Mm,
All his kids were girls until much later in life. Um, he had a son that I'm much older than, but that's a
are
story for
you
another
for real?
day.
Whoa.
That's my so my grandfather had, so my mom was firstborn. There were twins, and my grandfather didn't spare them.
Mm,
Didn't say, okay, these are ladies, so there are certain things that ladies don't do. So they did everything that if they were sons in the house they would have done.
yeah.
You understand? So they wash cars. They would wash cars.
Wow.
Yeah, they washed the cars, they fetched water, they did things that you would have said is the boys in the house that should do this, right?
Mm,
And so you can imagine that sort of schooling. So my
mm,
mother grew up and came into the marriage also being a self-sufficient woman in that sense,
mm,
right?
mm,
She knew how to manage her own car without the interference of her husband. She knew how to take care of
mm,
things in that
mm.
sense, right? And then the training she gave us, maybe I should say me in particular, also didn't spare me. Didn't say you are a guy. So
Mm,
even though yeah, I took some interest as well, but I did things. I would cook, right? I could. I mean, as a young single man, she taught me how to cook a goosey soup. We pound
wow.
yam.
Pastor
Yeah, I would.
Deji, you
I
never
would cook for
invited
the
me to
entire
come and eat your
family.
egusi soup. Oh. I'm taking this personal. Ah, ah. Hey, okay
You
now.
know,
You owe
so
me egusi soup.
okay, well, I hope I still remember how to make it. So there were things that I didn't see as a big deal for a man to do.
Mm,
Wash
mm.
plates, do all those things.
Upbringing.
So yes,
Upbringing.
so
Wow.
what you would call you know sort of manual jobs around the house, sweeping, mopping, those things were normal. You know,
Wow.
they were normal. They were part and parcel of. So what
Growing up.
happens of growing up? So what happens? Um, Today, if domestic help happens to not be available, goes off for some time, and you
Yeah.
always have seasons like that where you
Yeah.
understand. Boom. Till today,
Mm,
if I finish eating and my wife is busy doing something or whatever, I clear all the dishes.
mm,
Right? It doesn't.
mm,
It doesn't take anything away from me. Right?
mm.
I wash toilet. It doesn't take anything away from me. It's
Pastor
not.
Deji, you are
It's,
washing toilets.
yes, I
Hey,
do. I do. I do. In
brethren.
fact, I do it with the clinical dexterity that I was taught. Right. So I I get agitated if I don't find things like Harpic. You know. So yeah, I need all those. I need all the
Are you
works.
for real?
Yes, I need all the works before I start. Right. So everything is in
Wow.
place. And then I get. It's not a big deal. It's for me. It's not a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's I don't I don't see it as, oh, it's just the woman that has to do it and all of that.
Yeah, it's
So
not a woman's
oftentimes,
job.
it's not a woman's job. And apart from that, you know, I'm looking for, how do I support? I don't want to be,
Yeah,
I don't want to become extra burden on you, right? The
yeah,
kids are there,
yeah.
everyone is there.
Mm.
So I feel good when I'm able to chip in support.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow. So
I
good.
feel good. Yeah, I feel good when I'm able to chip in support and
Mm.
assist, right?
Mm.
So, you know, even though I don't show it, but internally I feel a sense of accomplishment and
Yeah,
you know,
girl.
yeah, that okay, at least I cleared the plates. She can say I helped
Yes,
her
sir.
do that one. You understand? You know?
Yes, sir.
So, and I mean,
My
accommodate.
husband will tell you. My husband will tell you that, oh, Ripemo clear boy. Did you notice that the sink is empty?
Oh, listen, thank you, Ni.
Oh, Ripemo say clear boy. Oh, Ripemo take go boy. You're still there. Oh,
You
wow.
know,
So
keeping
good.
the broom to sweep is not a big deal. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and thankfully, as the kids mature, you know,
Yeah.
my first daughter, I'm already like, you can't be, you sweep, you know, go and get the broom. Oh yeah, tidy
Yeah.
that place, clean up,
Yeah.
you know, and start. You know, you have to pass this training up to the
Yeah.
kids. And
Yeah.
I would admonish parents: don't be that parent that treats the boy as some special
Yeah.
guy to be worshipped around the house, who will just
Mm.
sit for his leg,
Mm.
and his role is just to be playing Game Boy and all of that.
Yeah.
And the girls are the ones that clean the house and all of that.
Mm.
No, that's not going to happen under my own watch,
Mm.
right? So that's yeah, that's what I have to say. So as the
Wow.
guy, as much as possible, be there, provide
Mm.
support, and close whatever gaps that there
Wow.
may be. You know,
Wow.
yes,
I
and
just be
indeed,
supportive. Mm.
the lady can't be too busy. Okay,
Yeah.
you can't be too busy serving the whole world, serving your
Mm. Preach it,
employers
sir.
to the
Mm-hmm.
detriment of your home and your
Mm.
family. It's important
Mm.
for you to be
To balance
deliberate
it. Mm.
in creating time for the
Yeah.
home front. It's
That's it.
very critical.
That's
So
it.
you can't just run off
Mm.
and do as you will. Of
Mm.
course, if you can buy support structures, let me put it that way, or you
Mm.
can
And
finance
pay
support
for it.
structures,
Yeah.
yes, that sort of also help to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
It's important, but nothing can replace relationship. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I'm being
all the
there.
other things around the house, yeah, fine, right? But in terms of relationship, your
Yeah.
relationship with your husband, your relationship with your children,
Yeah.
nobody can substitute you,
At
right?
all. Mm.
So
Preach
there's
it,
no
sir.
substitute for that. So you need
Mm.
to make up for it. And if you've been absent for seasons, you have to overcompensate
That's
for it,
it. That's
right?
it.
So any
That's it.
opportunities you have to
Mm.
overcompensate,
Overcompensate.
you
That's
know,
it. Mm.
go over the board. So you try to ensure that you're also not just coming back to just do what is just sufficient or
Yeah.
just enough. I've done no. You overcompensate. Always have
That's
that
it.
in mind, right?
Yes, sir. And
To
that's both
overcompensate
ways.
for the absence.
That's both ways. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's both ways, both the man and the woman, because in some cases it's the man that is so
Some
busy.
cases it's the man, yes.
Yeah. So I love that. You know, you said two things: succeeding apart. That is so key. Some people are succeeding apart, but that's not the case here. We're meant to succeed together. You know,
Yeah.
we're meant to work together in this. Sometimes you are the helper, sometimes I'm the helper. There's no strict rule. Yes, the Bible says the woman was created as a helper, but sometimes we are working. That's why we submit one to another. So there's
Yeah.
that working in sync together because we are trying to achieve the same goal. And I love what you said about overcompensate. I love that there's a balance. So in as much as, oh, the man also is being addressed, the woman also needs to be come also sometimes, you know, to that space where, okay, we're going to work this together. I love also that you said, at the beginning, that you have to be deliberate, especially when you know that you are both busy, or if you are the one that is busy. You can't keep saying, but I've been working, but I'm busy, but I'm this. No, you have to consciously, sometimes, most times actually, be deliberate about creating time for your family, creating time for the things that matter. Because truly, at the end of the day, it's not so much the accolades outside. It's more importantly that person that you have decided to make life together. The accolades that come there, the support, and all of that. And most times for women, despite all that they get out there, when they come back home, and this is for the men on the call, they also want to hear, you are awesome, you're wonderful. It's not so much of the praises outside, good as that may be. But I think that giggling together, night gossip, couple gossip, all those our small, it's even weightier, more important than whatever way she feels good outside. She needs to come home and know that she has that person. She can be a baby. She can be herself. She can be that vulnerable person with this one person. And it starts with what you said, being able to provide leadership, which is much more than financial support. And just
Financial
providing that
support,
leadership and
very key. And if I would emphasize, because I talked about succeeding apart, and that's the opposite of succeeding together, which implies that you both really do come together and you plan your lives. You make deliberate plans together. You shouldn't be blind to what you both have, right? And that's where the leadership comes in. The woman is by nature deferring to you to provide direction, right? So like we said, even if she's bringing the money in, you should have enough wisdom, for instance, on, okay, how do we manage this? What do we do? Provide that leadership and be very open. And you're making investment decisions, be very open, even if it's with your own money, right? Be very open. And if it's the wealth, the family wealth, in that sense, be very open and make those decisions together. Okay, we want to put money here and there, so that nobody gets blamed. The part of the reason why both of you are in a relationship is that the expectation is that the two of you coming together, of course, as they say, you'll be able to chase tens of thousands. You can accomplish a whole lot more together than you'll do individually. So bring your strengths together, plan together. The man provide the leadership in the home, and succeed together, and you count your blessings together.
That's it. Awesome. So the ultimate here is that we are succeeding together. We're not succeeding apart. So however that succeeding is being defined within the context of your marriage, ensure that you are happy together. Ensure that you are speaking the same language in terms of you are communicating together and you are heading in the same direction. So whether the marriage in terms of who is shining more, or who is providing more, is alternating, or is however way it is, most importantly, there's love, there's understanding, there's good communication, and there's a bond that is just so there, God-given. And like you said, two will definitely chase 1,000, and you would do much more, when you work together in sync. Thank you so much, Pastor Deji. I know
Thank you for having me, Pastor Maureen. Thank you for having me, ma'am.
So are you happy that I pushed you out of your comfort zone?
Yes.
Yay! Thank you for obliging me. Thank you for
ma'am.
making our time. Truly appreciate you, Pastor Deji, and our love to the family and to DDK and to the church. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Love to Pastor Dele and everyone there.
Yes, I will tell him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Wow, what a wonderful time. I mean, one of the things that he said that, I'm taking away is the story he said about his family and how he was raised. I think that is very, very key. Because as it is now, we need to begin to put emphasis on the children we are raising. It's important that we raise them as responsible human beings. We've moved past girls are in the kitchen, boys are this one. A girl should know how to wash car as a boy will know how to wash dishes. So it's not like, one gender knows something, the other gender doesn't know anything. Because in life, we are working together. We're bringing our strengths together. My strength is covering up for your weakness. Your strength is covering up for my weakness. So we have a lot of work to do, the parents that are on this call. Let us raise responsible men. I read something today. It was the statistics about how most of the emotional problems, psychological problems, mental problems. Now, when I say mental, I'm not talking about, to that extreme, that men display, or people, both men and women display in adulthood, is formed from before they are 14. I read that statistics today. So it is so important that we instill the right values in our children, both men and women. There is also that mindset where there's a lot of pressure. There's that cultural mindset where there's a lot of pressure on the men. Oh, you have to, you have to, you have to. And so a lot of men grow up with that mindset. I have to provide, we've been told now what leadership means. Yes, a man shouldn't be lazy, neither should a woman be lazy. So it's about togetherness. We are succeeding together. So it's not a case of that I am succeeding and you are left behind. And that was one of the things Femi said on Tuesday as well, such that you grow together. You're growing spiritually together. You're growing economically together. You're growing financially together, growing mentally together. You are being exposed to the same things. You're not leaving somebody behind, because this is a partnership. And that is how we cover more ground when we work in partnership. I mean, Pastor Deji, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love also that he said, when you find yourself in that season of your life, when you have so much to do as a couple, or even as one of the couple, one of the things you need to know is that if you can outsource some things, outsource them. And please, I'm here talking to the men on this call. If your wife is the one who has the busy schedule, it doesn't mean that you are of no value. It doesn't mean that you are not contributing something to that marriage. And if there's a need to outsource, get a help, get meals that are cooked, put in the freezer, please, I plead with you, it doesn't kill. This idea of I'm the man of the home, and one of the ways you just want to show it, even though you know this woman has a busy schedule, is that when you come, you must cook this food for me. No, Pastor Deji said he washes the toilet, he does the dishes. A lot of men do it. It doesn't reduce you. And I remember reading a comment, and I want to appeal to people also, because sometimes the family is fine, the husband is fine, but when outsiders come, and then you will not, Pastor Deji, you are washing plates. Is it that your wife is too busy? It's people that come and say all these kind of things. And then when we are the ones putting our mouth, and we are the ones giving wrong, unsolicited advice to these women and saying, what is your husband doing? They are fine, they are good, but you are the... Let us learn to mind our business. Let's learn to allow people grow through their seasons. There was a time in my marriage, earlier on, when we newly got married, how much was I even earning? 17,000 a month. We had just started the ministry, and I was the one working. Of course, my husband does quite a lot of so many other things. But at that season of our life, the bulk money was coming from me. How much was it? 17,000. But God saw us through it. And I can tell you that after that, he has stepped in on several occasions, much more, way much more. And so, guys, we're in partnership. If there's anything you're taking away from this conversation today, no one is trying to outshine another. It's not a competition. It's not a taboo if at some season in your marriage, your wife is receiving the limelight. It's not a taboo. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't mean that you are valueless. It doesn't mean you're not providing leadership. It just means that this is the season and someone is covering, someone is holding the fort. It is your joy. If you read Proverbs 31, it's amazing. A lot of women want Proverbs 31 women, but on their own terms. They want that woman on their own terms, with their own condition. Yes, so I want a hardworking woman, but, oh, I want a woman that is, but, no. We need to learn to accommodate ourselves and ensure that we are heading for the same thing. And also, like Pastor Deji said, to the women, we also need to balance out. We need to be humble, and we need to understand, the uniqueness of our marriages. No two marriages are the same. Understand the uniqueness God has given you. Allow the Holy Spirit walk in you and walk through you. And I tell you, all these things that we consider issues will be dealt with. And for men who probably feel their ego has been stained, who probably feel like, their wife has rubbed in some things, and they feel pained and feel, Pastor Deji said, get help. Said the first thing is admit it, that you can't be thinking this kind of thoughts towards your family, towards your wife. You need to seek help. You need to seek God. You need to seek counsel. And above all, get a mentor. Get a mentor. We can't overemphasize this. Women have mentors. Men have mentors, but not so much. Get a mentor. We are working together. It's not a competition, and we're not running a race. And may the Lord help us all in Jesus' name. Thank you guys for joining me. I had a wonderful time. To everyone who commented on YouTube, on Facebook, thank you so much. Till I come your way again on Tuesday, this is PMO saying Happy Easter. Have a wonderful time this weekend. It's a long weekend starting from tomorrow. I can't wait. Enjoy yourself. Have a great time. And of course, for those who don't know, we're going to be having Atmosphere. It is the relationship seminars, relationship program for Babes Redefined, BR Nation. And we're having it next week, Saturday, and it's going to be amazing. We're having Temitope Olagbegi, we're having Femi Jacobs, we're having Ayo and Femi Aboluwarin, we're having Moturayo Ojo, and Gloria Brymo. So they're going to be sharing with us. We've called it Relationship 360. There is the love spa, there's the soul spa, there's the nurturing spa. I mean, they're going to be sharing. We're going to have a roundtable talk conversation where these people are going to be sharing from their own personal experiences. They're going to be sharing with us how they've journeyed through life. And I tell you, you don't want to miss it. You can check my wall. You can check Babes Redefined. You can check, my IG wall for the details of the flyer. It's on Saturday. Details for registering is right there on the flyer. I look forward to seeing you all at that conference, at that meeting. It's online, it's virtual, so you can tune in from anywhere in the world. I'm coming on Tuesday, and my guest on Tuesday, oh goodness, you don't want to miss it. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I'll see you on Tuesday. God bless you. Have a fantastic Easter. And send my own rice. God bless you. Have a wonderful time.